Hello, my friends. It's getting even a little closer to the end. There may be 2 weeks, or if I go to the end of the month, 2 weeks and 3 days. I, 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 I don't know what to say. I love this house, but they've been pulling some radical changes. They cut down a tree in the front yard and they trimmed back another tree and they ripped out a tree in the backyard and they smashed a piece of there's a skylight that my stepfather had out on the deck that went down to a room below where he had a photo studio. It's just, there's so much been going on here. I don't like what they're doing, which is a good thing because it means I want to get out of here. Now, I probably would have gone back in March. I was almost ready. I was within a few days. But then the governor said everyone has to stay home. Well, he's threatening to do that again. And since I'm old and I've got blood pressure and, oh, I'm fat too, obesity. Look at this big fat bubblegums. Yeah. You can't see my double chins. I got a big rat's nest there hiding my double chins. But let's see if I can show you some of my fat. Yes, there it is. Look at all that fat. Yeah, well, that's also a problem. So I've been staying home, but I've been going out and going to the store, wearing this horrible thing. I hate these. I hate these. You can't talk regular with anybody. And then I have a scarf too. Oh my God, I left it in the car. Today I went for a drive. I went to the beach and I found a parking place right by the Ocean Beach Pier. Yeah. The Loathly Daddy knows where that is. And Loathly Daddy knows where the stairs come down from the pier to the parking lot. I found a place with my nose facing the sea, and I sat there and I wrote in my little notebook. Oh no, that's the grocery list. Well, I left the notebook in the car too. I wrote in my notebook and I read my book and I finished the last of my morning McDonald's coffee, and it's almost 7 p.m. now. The sun's going to set in about 45 minutes. Oh, yeah, strawberry. This is a season for strawberries. They're good, sweet. So I sat and I looked at the ocean and I watched the waves breaking and I listened to them. That waving sound of the waves breaking and quieting and then noisy again and then quieting. They're small waves, only 2 or 3 feet. But there was a bunch of surfers out there riding in the water, waiting, and sometimes they'd catch one, ride it for a little bit. And that was one of the things I did today. I went stocked up on canned goods. I'm trying to build up stocks of food that I can carry in the car with me that I don't have to worry about. Even if I can't make a fire, I can still eat a can of green beans or a can of corn. I can drink a can of milk. Canned milk. I have a bunch of canned milk now. I love my milk. I'm fortunate that I'm not lactose, whatever it is. Or maybe I am and I just don't know it. No, I poop every day, so I guess you know, who was it? I think it's one of my nieces has a problem with milk, and it makes her break out, and it was just awful. Yeah, and somebody else in the family is too. So whenever we haven't had a family gathering in like 5 months because of the plague. Good grief. I was just thinking on July the 4th, remembering a year ago how we all got together and they asked me to read the Declaration of Independence. What a ham I am. So it's 5 minutes and 50 seconds, coming up on 6 minutes. I lost my first my first promise to myself was make it 5 minutes, but it's not. It's 6 minutes already. I will be taking my camera with me. It sort of works. I'll also have my laptop, which is this. You're looking at the laptop computer camera. So I'll be checking in now and again, probably just about as much as I do now, once a month, once a week, sometimes every couple of days. Other than that, you won't be seeing these doors and windows behind me anymore. This beautiful set, this corner of the kitchen, which I think is just perfect with its angular lines and its windows and doors. They make a statement, but they don't dominate. They sort of frame me sitting in my kitchen by the window. Anyhow, I'll be gone from here, although you never know, things might happen to call me back here. Oh, I've got to check the bank window. Do you want to continue your session? No, I don't. I forgot I'd been checking to see if a deposit was made. You want to sign off? Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm expecting a deposit for maybe for $2,000, which will help me live for the next 2 months. Got to make it last for sometimes even 3 months, this payment. Got the rent from the house where my brother and I lived when we were kids. My mom kept it, and we've rented it out. She rented it out, and we kept the same tenants. They're good people, a family, a man and his wife, and 2 kids. And no, I don't know the exact relationship. I don't know if they're his kids or only her kids or if they're both their kids. I don't know. But I know that there's 4 of them. And we've been to the house twice in the last 2 years since Mom died. I'm glad we have a family living in the house. It needs a family. It's got 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Typical American dream house in a beautiful neighborhood. Canyon, mountain, hillside. Sort of dangerous for fire, but not too much because it's real close in. It's in the suburbs of San Diego, in the hills around the city. So my brother and I get the rent for that, and that helps pay the bills. And I've been trying to move out of here because I've been paying the bills here. Since my stepbrothers and stepsister, after Mom died, they said, you can live there, Daniel. Just pay the gas and electric and water until we decide what to do with the house. Well, 9 minutes and 30 seconds coming up. Well, they did decide. In this past year, they've decided they're either going to fix it to sell or fix it to rent. And they're just now starting to grind up. And a lot of it's under the direction of the trustee of the trust. He's made a lot of decisions, and it's a whole thing that's up in the air, just like my departure. Because I want to get out of here at 10 minutes, but it's already 10 minutes right now. 10 minutes. So I'm not going to make a 10-minute video either. Anyhow, we've been working on this house. We let it sit for like a year. I just took all my mother's clothes and put them in boxes. And I started sorting. Oh my, look at those birds go by. Oh, goodness. In the evening, they're not crows, they're ravens. In the evening, the ravens come over. Oh, oh, yes. Dozens of them this time. Sometimes they come over this house, sometimes they come over the house down the street. Ooh, look at that fat old white man. Sometimes the ravens, I almost called them crows again, but they're not, they're ravens. Oh, here comes the straggler. Oh, well, I'd turn the camera around, but they're gone. I am going to miss living here. I'm not going to miss the chopping down the tree and changing everything, but I'm going to miss it because it was the parents' house. Since 1978, this has been the house where the parents lived, where all the 3 children of my stepfather and the 2 children of my mother and our husbands and wives and our kids and the grandkids we all got together here for years. And now it's all in the past. It's gone. And they're probably going to sell this because it's worth a lot of money. I don't know if you remember the view out there that looks over Mission Valley, what I like to call Freeway Valley, where the stadium is. Beautiful view. You can see the sunset most of the year, although in the winter the sun goes behind the houses to the left, just to the south. But it's still a great view, even if, and out this way, to the east, you can see the hills in the east, the backcountry mountains, kind of peeking out through the trees that have grown up in the canyon. Because we're on this ridge that sticks out into the valley, and there's canyons cutting back on either side of us. And it's just beautiful. But all things have their time. For everything, there is a season and time for every purpose under heaven. And the earth is under heaven. It's a priori. It's decided beforehand, before we even are thinking. We know the earth is below, the sky is above. That's just the way human life is. And the animals and the plants. So, 13 minutes and 30 seconds, 13 and a half minutes, I'm going to have to get my act together. 20 minutes is too long for a video. Nobody watches it except people who are bored. Now, I have to warn you, but you probably already know that this isn't my first drink. It's 7 o'clock, and I've had 2 drinks before this one. Yeah. Oh, that's delicious. This is a brand of tequila called Jimador. 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 And it's just straight up 100% agave, nothing fancy. It's not expensive. It's very straightforward, middle class, middle of the road, solid tequila. It's okay. In fact, it's better than okay. You know, people go by on the street out there, and sometimes they catch my eye. You'll see me look over there, see if I know any of them. Sometimes I'll wave at them. That's happened a lot since the plague started. I waved more at people. That's something else I'll miss. But you know, if I'm staying in a campground or staying camping nearby a road, I'll see people go by. I can wave at them, yeah. Maybe you'll even see me do it on video when I'm trying to record my thoughts for you. 15 minutes and 45 seconds. I think I have just enough time to talk about something that's been going around in my brain more and more and more. The question of where will I go? My stepbrother's wife, my sister-in-law, is always very, very worried about me. And she asked that question again the other day. But where will you go? And it's boiled down to two routes. One is on the inside of the mountains, on the eastern side. There's a long valley that goes up the Sierra Nevada, the backside of the Sierra Nevada. And it goes through magnificent places, but it's a little warm there in the summer. Although Mono Lake, which is my destination on this path, a lovely camping area, and it's also near the old ghost town of Bodie, which is a big state park. I'd have to pay to get in there, and I couldn't sleep there, but there's Bureau of Land Management, public land around there where I could, if push came to shove, I could sleep there. But there's also national forest land a few miles away, which is even prettier with forests and volcano cones. The volcanoes are dead, by the way. They're not going to erupt yet. All the great camping area, but it gets hot in the daytime and it gets cold at night. Whereas the other route, which is not inland of the mountains, it's on the coast, on the outland of the mountains, on the west, following the beach north all the way up to San Francisco Bay. And that's where the little bell rings. I can't ring the bell. Ding, ding. Because that's where I was born. I was born on an island in San Francisco Bay, and every year, sometimes 2 or 3 times a year, we drove there, or Grandma would fly from San Francisco to San Diego to spend Christmas with us, or when I was 5 and 6 and 7 years old, I got to fly from San Diego to San Francisco, and Grandma and my daddy's old friends, because my dad grew up in Alameda. Alameda. And you know how small the world is. Christine, our own vlogging Christine, the queen of loggerheads. She loves Alameda. What a small world. What a coincidence. But anyway, that's where one place, 19 minutes, I have to wrap this up. That's the other destination, is to get to Alameda, to San Francisco Bay, via the coast route. Either you take the inland route and then cross the Sierras and the Great Valley and get to Alameda, or you take the coast route up past all the missions, all the Central California places, and you get to San Francisco Bay. That's the idea that's been shifting in my mind, and it all depends on the weather. What the weather's like the last week of July and the first week of August will decide which route I take. Until then, in 2 weeks, I remain here in this house. So at 20 minutes, I say goodbye.